Auntie Alice, you're remarkable. Was that a number from your album, your new album?
Yes, it is included in the album.
Your style of slack key guitar is quite different.
Yes, it is different from the type they are playing now. It's more modern, because the style that I'm playing was played in the 1800s.
Oh.
Soon after the Spanish people left Hawaii, after King Kamehameha's invitation to come down and teach the cowboys how to use the horses and how to handle the cows. So my brother picked it up when he started growing up. So I started picking up when I came.
Oh, with your
So
brothers?
I have been playing it ever since.
Did you pick it up on your brother's guitar? Was that it?
Yes, every time when he put it down, I had the tune in my mind and I'd pick it up, and he was happy that I was interested in it. And so I picked it up, and I used to know several. It should be more than 20 different tunings of the slack key guitars. And of course, came to my time, I used to know 8 different tunings. But staying away from music for somewhere almost around 40 years, it kind of dwindled away from me, and I still remembered 3 tunings, but this tuning is my favorite tuning.
It is. Where were you born, Auntie Alice?
I was born in Honoka'a, Hamakua, Hawaii, not far away from where the cowboys were taught to rope.
Oh, so that's how your brother picked it up from the cowboys.
Oh, yes.
Did you grow up there then?
I grew up in Honoka'a and Waimea, and of course in 1901, that's when the family left the Big Island to bring their daughter to Kamehameha School for further education. And then so I was quite a youngster, about 9 years old at that time.
And you came over here to Oahu then?
So we came here, and then I came with the Hawaiian language. Of course, when I attended school, I went a little more on the western side, and so.
You mean you spoke Hawaiian at home all the time?
Mostly.
Oh, yes.
Mostly.
And
my
so,
grandparents and my parents were still speaking the language, and I grew up with the language being the first language I heard and learned before going to enter this English schooling.
Now your name is not really Alice, is it?
It's a long Hawaiian name that the principal couldn't pronounce it, so since the girl that brought me to school for the first day happened to be Alice Brickwood, so she said, why not call her Alice after you? Of course, we'll register her down in her Hawaiian name, but we'll call her Alice. She couldn't pronounce Kuʻuleialohapoinaʻole, so that's why they know me now by Alice Kuʻuleialohapoinaʻole, Kanaka Oluna, married to Solomon Namakelua.
Oh yes. What does your name mean? Does it have a meaning?
The Namakelua or the long Hawaiian name?
Yes, the long Hawaiian name.
The long Hawaiian name is ever beloved wreath or lei.
What was your girlhood like back then on the Big Island?
Oh, it was very interesting.
Did you?
We grew up in the real Hawaiian style, in everything. And of course, the only transportation was horses those days. And we used to love riding. The boys from the other districts would meet the girls from the other district, and we go out riding, and that's one reason why I wrote that song, Kuʻuleialohapoinaʻole. A reminiscence of my young days, horseback riding.
Now, when you came over here to Oahu, weren't you adopted by another family?
Yes, my mother's brother took me by adoption. My mother happened to feel sorry for her brother because he was mourning terribly for his lost child.
Oh.
So my mother thought to help him get over that, since she was pregnant at the time, to give him the child that she's going to have.
Oh, I see.
So she came to her brother's house and stayed there and gave birth and left the baby with him.
Oh. Now this was quite a common practice among the Hawaiians.
Among the Hawaiians. It was no hard thing, especially if there's a family that had more than 2 or 3 children. Like in my case, I happened to be the 5th child, so it wasn't hard for my mother to give me to her brother.
Now, did your brother have any other children? In other words, what were you, about 8? How many children were there in the family, your own family?
My own family, we were 9 of us.
9.
And I happened to be the 5th one.
Now, did your brother have any children then?
My uncle had a child of his own. And that's the reason why we came to Honolulu, to bring that daughter to Kamehameha School for Girls.
I see. Did you, when you came here, you went to what school?
I went to Kuʻuleialohapoinaʻole School because we resided at Kapalama Street, right above where Kalmakapili Church is.
And what did you do after school and on vacations? Did you play or did you work as a child, or what was life like?
Oh, we did home chores like any other child. We learned to do our regular duties in the morning, and we played and we sang and we taught. Most of the children those days were talking Hawaiian language.
Oh, they were.
Because the English language was still kind of new.
You were quite close to Queen Liliuokalani, weren't you?
Well, yes. In 1908, that's when I became closer to her. Because she used to be a guest at my aunt's house. You remember E.K. Fernandez?
Oh, yes.
His parents.
Oh.
She was a guest at their home very often. They may have been related on Auntie Minerva's side to the Queen. And she always was a guest at their home. And every time Auntie Minerva had a company, she would send for me to come and give hand.
To help out.
So that's why I became acquainted more to the Queen. I used to prepare the food for her, fix the fish and the lomi salmon and the inamona, which we call it the kukui nut delicacies, and all of those things. And then when she arrives, then I would change to my dress, and I would stand by her table and wave the kahili when she's eating. And then after she's through eating, she would sit on her favorite chair, and I would sit on the floor at her foot and massage her feet. And Aunt Minerva used to kind of give a little hint. She says, "Queen, you might as well know that little Alice here can sing." "Oh, can she?" She says, "Oh, yes, she can." She said, "Oh, will you please sing for me?" Of course, this is all in Hawaiian.
Yes, yes.
The conversation is in Hawaiian. And then I would sing. And she was so pleased the first time she heard me sing. And then that got into a habit. Every time she came there, I would sing. She would ask me, and her favorite songs was Waipio and Hi'ilawe and Kamakani Kaʻilialoha. I guess I sang the best in those songs, so she always requested me to sing those songs for her.